Hey guys, what's up? We are back with another video today, and as of the requested video, we are doing our Florida 2023 football prediction. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, like the video if you enjoy it, or dislike it if you dislike it, but make sure that you leave your comments down in the comment section to let me know what your thoughts are on this upcoming Florida football season. Go ahead. Right now, we'll take a pause the video, put your record prediction right down in the comment section. Go ahead. Now that you've unpaused the video, go ahead, check out College Football Roundup. It is the partner channel with this channel. It is a channel that me and American Football Network do, and it will be our podcast channel during the college football season, where we'll have our weekly prediction show on there exclusively on Roundup. So make sure you go ahead, hit the subscribe button over there. More importantly, hit the notification bell so you know when those videos should be coming out. And that should be pretty much it. Check out the website, but let's make our way over to the channel or to the schedule. So with Florida, you definitely have a interesting week game one or an interesting first game. Billy Napier obviously has a tough road ahead. Second year, you got to go on the road and play Utah. This is a loss. I know that Florida won last year, but last year, Florida had Anthony Richardson. This year, you don't. You have Graham Mertz, quarterback, and maybe a change of scenery will help Graham Mertz a little bit, but I don't know if it will help him enough in order to really get him going. And Graham Mertz, these past couple of years at Washington Wisconsin, has just been a disappointment. He hasn't played well. Utah, it's a loss. It's a tough environment, same as the Swamp. It's a tough place to go play, and I think that that's kind of the difference in this game. I also think that Cam Rising is better. It will play better than he did last year. I think that overall it's just a team that is just going to be able to beat Florida. I think running back-wise, Florida is better than Utah, but outside of that, you're looking at a Florida team that I just don't see a category in which Florida is better than this Utah team in each and every single category. Then you have McNeese coming up. Then you get a win. There's no issue here. I barely even knew that this team existed outside of that. Florida is playing them this year. I'm sorry. To anybody that goes to McNeese there. I go to a small university, so I understand. Then you have Tennessee. Tennessee. This is going to be a big game. You either have beaten Utah and you're back in the top 25 probably, or you've lost to Utah and there's a little bit of skepticism going into this week. Tennessee, I don't think is as good as they were last year, and Florida played them pretty well. They almost beat them, in fact. 33-18 was the final score, and you played well. If you're Florida, it was not a bad game. Tennessee obviously was one of the best teams in the country last year, got all the way up to number 2, so not a particularly bad loss, but at the end of the day, I do think that this is a loss, even though Tennessee did lose some pieces at quarterback and at wide receiver and some pieces on the defensive side and on the offensive line. I think that Tennessee, Florida's loss of Anthony Richardson, I don't see it being replaced as much as Hendon Hooker getting replaced by Joe Milton. I don't think Graham Mertz is a worthy replacement. And I don't even think Anthony Richardson was amazing last year. He was solid. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't just out of this world good. He got drafted number 4 overall because of his arm talent and his athletic ability, not because he was one of the best quarterbacks in Florida history or in the college football or stuff like that. So I think that this game is a loss. I think it's a hard, tough game, but I do think it is a loss. Charlotte, you'll have no issue. This is a newly minted AAC team, is about the only point that I really have about Charlotte to say. This is a Charlotte team that it has a new football program. It hasn't been around that long. It's in the AAC because of its media market. And it really is a team that simply just it's not that good. It's a football team and a program that struggled since its very inception. Then you have a road game against Kentucky. This is a game that I went back and forth on, and I was kind of 50-50 on it. And to be honest, I'm kind of splitting it with South Carolina. I think that you lose this Kentucky game, but spoiler here, I do have you beating South Carolina. I could very easily see you guys beating Kentucky and losing to South Carolina. I could very easily see that happen, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves. With Kentucky particularly, Devin Leary, good quarterback, Ray Davis, a good running back. They have some pieces, and not to mention that you have a really, really good head coach there. I think that you definitely have a lot to prove if you're Florida under Billy Napier, and I think that it is going to be hard to do that when you're facing off with a coach like Mark Stoops, who has been at Kentucky for a long time and has proven to be a winning coach. Not that Billy Napier hasn't, but he hasn't at Florida so far. So he's been there for a year. I'm not saying anything. Then you have Vanderbilt. I think you get a win here, but by no means is this a walk in the park like previous years. Vanderbilt is not an easy win, as many Florida fans found out last year. This is definitely a team that is going to be a tough team to beat. You are definitely looking at a Vanderbilt team that is going to compete in this game. I have it as a win. If the game is at Vandy, I'm probably picking Vandy. But with the game being at Florida in the Swamp, one of the toughest places to play in all of college football, I think you get the win there over Vanderbilt. Like I said, I do think you beat South Carolina. I could very easily see a split here between Kentucky, but I kind of went with South Carolina more or less to even out kind of the schedules and kind of record-wise, I'll be honest. That's kind of how I do it, is I go for the overall record more than just game by game. So if you have issues with individual games, you can argue with me, but what I'm really going to say is that I didn't go based just off individual games. It was also based off the fact that I think Florida will go X, Y, and Z. Then you have Georgia. I'm sorry, but you're not beating Georgia. You guys got to prove it to me that you can beat Georgia before I pick you guys to beat Georgia. You didn't. You've only beat them once in the past 5 years, and Georgia has dominated most of those matchups, winning 36-17, winning 24-17, winning 34-7, and winning 42-20. These games mostly aren't close contests, and Georgia is just a team that, until proven otherwise, they're the number one team in the country. They just simply are. Back-to-back national champions, that's just how it works. Then you have Arkansas. This is a game in the Swamp. This is a game that was 50-50 for me, I'll be honest. And I went with the loss. I think that the experience that KJ Jefferson brings to the quarterback position, I get that Arkansas loses a lot. You have a new offensive coordinator. You have a new offensive scheme, and I think that you're in a different scenario. But I think KJ Jefferson, I don't think he'll be used to run as much as a quarterback, so I think he'll be much more healthy for this game. I think that under the Kendall Briles system, he got injured quite a lot, or not even injured, but just banged up. He was really banged up. So I'm going to have that as a loss. Then you have LSU, a road game. I'm going to make it 3 in a row, unless if any LSU player decides to throw a shoe. If they do, then obviously it goes in the win category for Florida. But all jokes aside, I think that this is a Florida team that they just don't have the guys to compete with LSU right now. They just simply at the quarterback position, at the offensive line. The offensive line is not good enough to compete, in my personal opinion, against the big dogs in the SEC like LSU. I just don't see it. Then you have a road game against Missouri. I do think that you win this game here, getting a possibility at bowl eligibility in that final game against Florida State. And with a 5-6 record going into the game, I think Florida State wins it. I think you guys finished with a 5-7 record. The reason for the Florida State game is that I think Florida State just simply at quarterback, like the biggest thing about this season is when it comes down to quarterback, Florida's frankly lacking when it comes down to linebacker, to secondary, to offensive line, to wide receiver. Like, this is a Florida team that just simply does not have the dudes. The running back room is going to be pretty good. It's going to be one of the better ones in the country. But at the same time, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a team that is going to have a lot of struggles, in my opinion. I could see 6 or 7 wins, but when you get in that 8-9 category, that means that you have to beat South Carolina and Kentucky. It means that you have to probably beat either Georgia or Florida. You have to beat these big dogs. You have to beat Utah and stuff like that. Like, it's going to be a tough season for Florida. But leave your comments down in the comments section down below. If you want, I respond to every single comment, so let me know. Otherwise, hit the 2 videos down below. One will be the playlist of all of my college football podcasts or college football predictions. Hit the subscribe button up here if you enjoyed the content. And as always, have a great day.